Most people are arguing over whether a powerhouse like Loki or Yamato should join the crew to beef up the hockey reserves for the final war, but looking back at the history of this story, there is one name that carries more emotional weight than any literal prince of Elbaf ever could. I am talking about the man, the legend, and the ultimate queen of sacrifice, Bon Clay. When you go back and rewatch the Impel Down arc, it hits you like a freight train how much we actually owe this guy. He is the person who least resembles a traditional masculine figure in the series, yet he consistently acts with more honor and bravery than almost any man we have met. In my mind, Bon Clay has earned the right to be called Luffy's third brother, standing right there in the spirit of Ace and Sabo. While everyone is chasing the next big power-up, Bon Clay is the one who proved that loyalty is a stronger force than any conqueror's hockey. The debate usually starts with the current state of the crew's power scaling. People look at the chaos in Egghead and the looming threats in Elbaf and panic because they think the Straw Hats are too weak. They see Luffy and Zoro carrying the heavy lifting and worry that the rest of the crew can't hold the line against the world government's top tiers. This is where the push for Loki comes in. People want a monster, a giant with a terrifying fruit and conqueror's hockey to balance the scales. But honestly, who even likes Loki yet? He's an unknown variable. On the flip side, we have Bon Clay, a character who has already died for Luffy's dream twice without hesitation. When he was under Crocodile as Mr. 2, he was a professional. He fought Sanji to the absolute limit because that was his job. But the moment he recognized a soul like Luffy's, his entire worldview shifted. That transition from a villain to the ultimate ally is the most beautiful arc in the series because it wasn't about a redemption for sins, it was about a recognition of brotherhood. Think about the moment in Impel Down when Luffy was dying from Magellan's poison. Everyone else had given up. The prison was a literal hell, and the strongest warriors were looking for an exit. Not Bon Clay. He dragged Luffy through the freezing cold of level 5, screaming and begging for a miracle until his own throat was raw and he was collapsing from exhaustion. That isn't just being a good friend. That is the kind of devotion you only see in family. If Ace is the brother who died to protect Luffy's life, and Sabo is the brother who returned to protect Luffy's legacy, then Bon Clay is the brother who sacrificed his freedom and his life over and over again just so Luffy could have a chance to keep moving forward. He is the unofficial third brother that the fandom has already collectively adopted, and seeing him again in the live action or a future manga chapter would probably break the internet. The sheer loyalty this man possesses is terrifying. Back in Alabasta, he stayed behind to face the Marines so the Straw Hats could escape. That was the first time we saw his heart. But Impel Down was on another level. He stayed behind in that hellscape to open the gates of justice, knowing full well he would have to face Magellan alone. He chose a lifetime of imprisonment or death just so Luffy could go save Ace. He didn't ask for a reward, he didn't ask to join the crew, he just did it because that is what a real friend does. It makes all the current arguments about Loki or Yamato feel a bit shallow. Sure, Yamato is strong and has a great design, and Loki might have the raw power to shake the world, but do they have the history? Do they have the blood-soaked bond that Bon Clay built with Luffy in the darkest pits of the world? We're at a point in the story where the stakes are so high that fans are obsessed with power levels. They see Sanji and Jinbei as just mid-tier support and fear the rest of the crew will be crushed in the upcoming Elbaf conflict. This leads to the desperate desire for a new, overpowered recruit. But I think we are missing the point of what makes the Straw Hats special. It isn't just about how hard you can hit. It's about the fact that this crew inspires people to throw their lives away for them. Bon Clay already leads an army of Okama in the new Kama land within Impel Down. He is already a king in his own right. Even if he never officially joins the ship as a permanent member, his role as the ultimate ally is more impactful than another heavy hitter joining the front lines. He represents the soul of the series, the idea that family isn't about bloodlines or who your father is, but about who is willing to stay behind and fight the warden of hell so you can keep running toward your dream. I genuinely believe that the emotional payoff of seeing Bon Clay reunite with Luffy would outweigh almost any other character return. When you look at the comments from fans who are rewatching Alabasta or Impel Down right now, the sentiment is always the same. They are crying. They are moved. They see the masculinity in his sacrifice that transcends his flamboyant exterior. It's a brilliant subversion by Oda. He took the character who is the most unconventional and turned him into the gold standard for what it means to be a man of honor. If we are talking about who deserves to be by Luffy's side when he becomes the Pirate King, Bon Clay's name has to be at the top of the list. The dynamic between strength and loyalty is a recurring theme that keeps the community divided. Some argue that the crew is too weak to face the elders or the admirals without another powerhouse. They look at the gaps in Egghead and feel a sense of dread. But look at what Luffy has accomplished. He didn't get through Impel Down because he was the strongest. He got through because he had people like Bon Clay who were willing to do the impossible for him. That is Luffy's true haki, the ability to turn enemies into brothers. Bon Clay was a villain who became a hero and then became a martyr. That evolution is far more compelling than a giant prince showing up with a high power level. There is also a deep sense of nostalgia driving this. Watching the early arcs makes you realize how much the series has grown, but it also highlights the characters who left a permanent mark on our hearts. Bon Clay is the ultimate fan-favorite villain because he was never truly a villain at heart. He was just someone looking for a place to belong. He found that belonging in his friendship with Luffy. The way he stayed loyal to Crocodile to the very end shows his character. He wasn't a traitor. He was a soldier who followed orders until those orders conflicted with his soul. Once he was free from the Baroque work structure, he became the purest version of himself. Every time I see a discussion about the next Straw Hat, I find myself drifting back to that snowy wasteland in Impel Down. I think about Bon Clay cheering for Luffy while his own body was failing. I think about him standing before Magellan at the gates, smiling because he knew he had won. He didn't win a fight, he won the survival of his friend. That is a level of victory that a hockey blast can't achieve. As the world of One Piece moves toward Elbath in the final war, and while we keep an eye on Loki and wonder what his role in Elbath will be, let's not lose sight of the characters who actually built the foundation of this journey. Bon Clay isn't just a side character from an old arc. He is a constant reminder of what this story is actually about. He is the proof that even in the darkest, most hopeless prison in the world, the power of friendship and the bond of brotherhood can overcome any warden and any gate. He is the brother who stayed behind, and the day he finally steps back into the sunlight will be the day the world truly starts to change. Whether he's a Straw Hat, an ally, or the third brother, his impact is undeniable. He is the queen of our hearts and the hero we are all waiting to see again. The final war needs more than just hockey. It needs the spirit of Bon Clay to remind everyone what they are fighting for. Because at the end of the day, being the Pirate King isn't about being the strongest person on the sea. It's about the person who has the most people willing to die for them. And nobody proved that better than the man who turned a prison break into a masterpiece of sacrifice.
If you enjoy this video, please like, share, subscribe and hit the bell to the later update from my channel. Thank you for watching till the end and see you in the next video.